Hello, everyone, and welcome to the writing class and probably the women's cave. Who knows? I'm by myself today, and I'm very tired because guess what? I'm not as sick as I was when I did the show about 3 days ago, but I'm really sleepy. I'm so sleepy. I think it's because of the weather. Like if it was snowing, I'd be so excited. I'd be like, the snow. But because it's rainy, it's like the sleep. So I'm not going to be bouncy as I normally am. But we wrote books. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that now. Yeah, we wrote books. Let's keep this moving. Wow, why is that light so weird? One of the books that we wrote is our books are literary life guides with pop poetry. One of the books we wrote is And I Thought Divorce Was Bad with other life lessons. And then we have And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy. And If Only I Were Me, a memoir in verse. All of those are now audiobooks. And keep your ears open because Whittle Web, which is my book, will actually be an audiobook as well. Let me see, what else is going on? Oh, then I have to tell you, The Women's Cave and Other Pop Poems. That's our top 4 books that we want to talk about out of the 17 today, because The Women's Cave was a #1 bestseller in poetry and anthology. So that's the only book we will cop up to it being a poetry book. All of them are. But who wants to read poetry? But a literary life guide. Well, that's kind of cool. But you're not here to hear about me. Oh, wait, you can pick up all those things at www.andwethought.com. Or if you want the abbreviated version, www.andithoughladies.com. You're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guests. Wonderful guests, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Sue Hinkin, and I am living in Denver, Colorado. And we did get the snow, and it was exciting, but thank God it's melting, and spring is on its way. So it's a pleasure to be here. I've really enjoyed looking at your well-known as wonderful website, and all the work that you're doing is very impressive.
I'm sorry you had to look at our website. Oh my goodness, so sorry.
I'm a stalker. I'm a mystery writer, you know?
Yes, a mystery writer does not leave any clue unturned. Mentioning that, you're not just a mystery writer, you're an award-winning mystery writer. Can you tell us a little bit about the books that won the awards?
Well, most recently, I've got 4 thrillers on the market right now, with the 5th one that's with the publisher. And the second book particularly, it's called Low Country Blood. It's the only one that's set in Georgia. You're Georgia, and it won was a finalist for the Silver Falchion Award. And I've had a number of nice honors, which has been great. But you know, doing the work, turning out those books is what gives me the greatest pleasure. I've waited a long time in my life to finally get started doing this. So you know, every day is a blessing to be able to get up and write scary books. So it's been a lot of fun.
She says she's been doing this a long time, because I believe you had a whole nother career behind the camera.
I had several different careers, but yeah, I was one of the first women to be a television news camera, to go out and capture stories with reporters. And that happened in the late 70s. And I was doing I was working at Michigan State University. I have a degree in counseling, and I did a lot of work in that field. But a friend of mine told me that the local television station was desperate to hire a woman because they had 2 major FCC sex discrimination suits riding against them. So I went in, didn't have a lot of experience other than with still camera, but they were desperate enough to hire me. So I got that job, and it was fantastic. I had a wonderful time. And the characters in my book, there are 2. Bea Middleton, who's an African-American woman who's a TV news reporter, and her sidekick, who's a photographer, which was my profession, Lucy Vega. And so my stories really go back to my relationship with a woman. She was the only Black woman, and I was the only woman in the whole technology field. So they'd often send us out together. Sue and Val would go out together. So we developed a very, very close bond. We were often in very challenging situations. It wasn't like we were going out to lunch. You know, we had issues to deal with. And so the characters in my books are, as a result, kind of grew from that early relationship, which was my first job in the news field, and hers too. And so I kind of took it from there. And I did have some issues when I first took the book to try to get an agent for it. And I had a New York agent who this was before we had social media, so nobody knew what I looked like. But when I walked in the door with all these Black characters and I was a older white woman, that was kind of the end of the conversation. But since then, times have changed and things are opening up, and we all live in this urban society, and the reality is diversity. If you can't write about somebody other than just yourself, you're missing half of what's going on out in the world. So I've gone forth with my, multicultural characters, and I've really, publishers have had some issues, not my current publisher, but readers have had no issue. I've had really just a lot of support, which has felt really, really good. So I'm out there giving it a shot, doing the best I can. If I screw up, I humbly apologize, and then I try to do better. But I think that's all we can try to do, I guess.
Very true. So I noticed that you said that you've had a lot of support, but it looks like you've also given a lot of support to other writers because you're part of multiple writing groups.
That's true. Yes, the Colorado, well, there are many wonderful writing groups around the country. I'm a member of Sisters in Crime Colorado and LA. I've spent many years living in Los Angeles, and my characters are all based in LA, except for the Low Country Blood, which is based in Savannah. And I think I'll be coming up back to Georgia with my next one. Yeah, I'm very active, and I try to do my very best to be a support, to be a cheerleader. It's a tough business, as you well know, and you're usually trying to do it with balancing the rest of your life, which is other jobs and families and kids and whatever else it is that you have going on. So I think all of us need a lot of support, and just reminding you can do it. Maybe you're not going to do it this year, but it's going to come back around, and you'll jump back on, and it'll happen. Because if you're a writer, you're a writer, and you can take vacations and get waylaid, and we all have done that, but you always kind of come back to that. And so yeah, Mystery Writers of America, I'm involved in international thriller writers, and it's also terrific in terms of getting to know other writers and networking, which is a wonderful way to really get yourself and your books out there. You can't, I'm an introvert by nature, but you can't sit in your office or your, wherever it is that you write without getting out there and interacting with other people. It's just, your work will never see the light of day. And all of us want to share our work, I think, for the most part.
And I have to ask, what everyone wants to know is, how did you get your literary agent?
I don't have a literary agent. I had a literary agent. And that literary agent sat on my book for 2 years, and which is typical. It's not unusual, making changes. It's not the right time, whatever. So I ended up at a writer's conference out here in Colorado, and I was toward the end of the conference, and I knew I had a good book, and I just was kind of beside myself. And a friend of mine who's a publisher, I said, what do I do? I am absolutely desperate. I hit the wall. I was in tears. Everybody goes through that, unfortunately. And so she said, okay, let me read it. So she read it, and about a month later, she offered me a publishing contract. So I decided, I hesitated. I thought, oh no, I've got to have an agent, but it didn't help me. So I went directly with the publisher, and it's been fabulous. It's a small company that started up about 5 years ago. They have maybe 25 or 30 authors. We get all sorts of feedback on everything from our cover to, we get terrific editing. It's a real partnership. And for me, that has worked really well. So many friends of mine I know, they're given their cover and they have no feedback whatsoever. They have to make edits without question. And I think the situation I'm in with Literary Wanderlust is the name of the company, name of the publishing house. It's very collaborative, and we feel like we're all the readers feel like, and writers feel like we're part of a team, launching each work. So that to me that's who I am. That's what I feel that I need. It works well. So
that sounds wonderful. Literary Wanderlust. If you want some poetry, let me know. No, I'm joking.
Literary Wanderlust. Yeah.
Wanderlust.
I'm not sure if they do poetry or not. They do what they like. And poetry, with this amazing young woman who read that fabulous poem at the inauguration, everybody's starting to think about poetry. So maybe your work is at the right time. Maybe the iron is hot for poetry right now.
Maybe we shall see. We shall see. It has it's been a boom over here for us, but that's not important. Let's get back to you. What 3 tips would you give writers that are just starting out?
Most overnight successes are 10-year stories, at least. So I think that's something I think we live in a society that's very immediate oriented, but the chances of that happening are 0. You've got to be in it for the long run. Learn your craft. And that's another long, it's not something that happens overnight. And I think persistence is probably the most important thing. Given a modicum of talent, you just have to stick with it and keep doing it. And you'll get burned out, you'll get discouraged, you'll walk away, you'll come back, but just stay at it. I don't know too many people who haven't been wildly persistent that didn't succeed at some point. It may not be the time you're looking for. It might be like for me, 20 years later than I had hoped, but it'll happen. So persistence, working hard, and also along the way, kindness is important. People remember if you've made them feel uncomfortable or bad. And even though even though writing is happens in isolation somewhat, the publishing community knows you. They don't, and you get a reputation and be a good person. I think that's true for everything, but writing as well.
I love it. Thank you so much for all that advice. And where can people find your 4 thriller books?
The 4th one, let's see here. This is kind of a quirky thriller. It's called The Mermaid Broker, and it's about sex trafficking in Southern California. And a young Santa Monica high school teacher is trafficked into being a mermaid in a international sex tourism ring. And it's pretty wild. I think you'll like it. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. And it's on Amazon, any place books are sold. Comes out April 1st. It's on pre-order right now. And you can go to my website is www.suehinkin.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
And I guess I should wrap up. No, I was about to be like, Jay, would you like to wrap up? But there's no Jay. Oh my word, I will know now. I so forgot to introduce myself. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm Winona. And let me wrap this up now. We're at the end of the show. You can find out everything that your ladies are doing at www.andwethought.com. If you want the abbreviated version, it's www.andithoughladies.com. Please go to the ladies tab on the And We Thought one and try to give some money, donate to the charities. If you don't have money, let's you know, give them some clothes. If you don't have that, give them some time or some expertise that you might be able to do. If you don't have any of those things, just send them a little note over social media and let everyone know that they are doing a wonderful work in the world. You see them and they will probably be so encouraged, because we all need an encouraging word. And just remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. I can't believe I'm waving for her. Bye-bye.